Hey, what's going on? I go by Chris the Viking. My stage name for the crappy band I was in back in the day. It was dumb, so I'll just go with Chris the Viking. I made more of a name for myself playing with video game stuff than I did with music. So, what I'm here to talk about now, and in defense of what I think is a pretty good emulator, uh, is the Blackstar HT-5 Emulator. In a way, this head is actually a very good emulator. Like, you could actually have this in a studio, no problem. Uh, but in my opinion, there's some things that have to go along. You know, you don't just plug in a head and get great sound out of it. You sometimes have to get other things to plug into it and do that jazz. So let me turn everything off so we can start bare minimum, and then as we talk, I'll turn stuff on until I get to full avalanche. So right now, the only thing that is on is a couple of noise gates. So it's got a little bit of a warmth to it. I'm playing through a alternative 8 pickup, one of the special edition ones that are chrome looking. And on the other side of that, when you want it to be heavy, the hard channel is actually pretty good with just nothing at all. So the heavier side of it actually does have a very nice sound. You could crank the volume down a little bit and get your crank it down a little bit more. I guess it goes into the Aural Exiter first, and then it goes into the noise gate, and then it goes into the MXR, and then it goes into the reverb, and then that goes back into the head. So you get a really nice, cleaner sound. There's an old rule in recording: crap in and crap out. So if you can get it to come out of the speaker exactly the way you want it to sound, then that's great. You just get the flattest condenser mic that you can find. I wouldn't even go with a condenser mic. I would just go with a large diaphragm microphone, maybe 2 or 3 of them. So now I'm gonna throw on the distortion for the head, and this isn't yet being hit with the Jekyll and Hyde that I use. I come from the old school where you get a distortion box and you plug that into your head, and that's how you get your sound. And your choice of distortion box becomes your flavor, if you will. So I've been through about 15 distortion boxes, and I ended up with this Jekyll and Hyde box. And I don't even use the overdrive side of it. I just use the distortion side of it, which is really what you're after when you're goosing an amp. Is you're really not after overdrive, because that's what you're doing to the amp. So you're overdriving with overdrive. It kind of makes it crappy sounding, to be honest. What you should do is you should get a distortion box, especially one with some kind of parametric effect to let you zone in on certain sounds, and I would avoid the metal zone. That is more of an overdrive than it is a distortion box, but you can get pretty decent sound out of it, and you're not cranking it up and trying to get the most overload distortion out of the box. You're just getting a nice edge on it to saturate the overdrive from the preamp of the amp, and you can add a certain character to the sound because it's got an EQ. So let me turn on the Jekyll and Hyde, and you'll see how it thickens things up. So there's the Jekyll and Hyde, and what happens is it goes into this chromatic tuner, and then it goes into the Rocktown reaction, which is a type of noise gate. It's more of a hush. And then I have the Silokybe, and I don't really use it very often, but I like it, especially when I'm, wanting to play something that's sort of mellow and trippy with lower distortion. I'll let you hear what that sounds like. The Jekyll and Hyde, I click on this section. I don't have that on, and you can see pretty much how I have it spread. Oops. Turn the volume up. It's got a very nice sound, and it records really well. Okay, I'll let you hear the Silokybe, and then I'll play around with a couple things on it. Let me take this to a cleaner sound. So that would be the clean with the Silokybe going through the Aphex and then the EQ and then the reverb. I like to have a little bit of distortion on it. It doesn't sound really great when it's all like full avalanche. You can do that Eddie Van Halen stuff. can get your, like, you know, flashy soloings on with that sound too. Playing chords and stuff. There's a little bit too much noise in there, but you can do lots of like. Probably do Priest covers like. Yeah, it's a very good emulator. I got no problems with it. You could get pretty much anything out of it if you got the right stuff to use with it. You really do need an equalizer if you're, especially if you're recording. You know, put an equalizer on the loop. Put something like a expander or exciter on the loop with it. Put a noise gate on there to clean it up. Before you go into the head, you know, think about what kind of pickups you're using. Are you getting enough distortion? If not, throw a booster pedal on there if you want. Or I recommend using either an equalizer or a distortion box. And the distortion box to me is, you know, if you want metal, you're going to want to go distortion box. Forget about these like active pickups. They're just distortion boxes without distortion and without good controls over the distortion. That's all they are. These big mud flaps. Blow up your speakers, man.